Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So still working on the window, however, we have reached the part where the flowers and the leaves from the flowers are starting to overlap on the window, so hopefully that should make this a little more interesting for you. And I'm not starting at 0 today. Yeah, I got 61 stitches already completed earlier. Oh, that is not a fuzz, that is an end. The other side, there we go. All right, so yeah, this is going to be a confetti heavy session, I think, from looking at this pattern. Yeah, it's going to be, and I picked up the wrong thread. Yeah, speaking of confetti heavy, be careful not to mix myself up. But yeah, I have a whole lot of threads in this area, so that will slow down my progress a bit, I think. Yeah. I just moved my frame again for what should be the last time on this pass, I think. And I don't know if I'm going to get it done this month, as, yeah, I have been busy with other stuff, my renovations and moving things around and all that, so I have had less time to stitch than I normally do. So yeah, if I had my normal amount of stitching time, I'd say yeah, no problem to get this pass completed, but yeah, with less time, that is looking a lot less likely. So I think that's the one I picked up right at the beginning. Yes, it is. So yeah, just as usual, following the colors. So that's made sort of a little indentation here because this is where a leaf is going to start showing up. So you can see I already have one extending there, and I've been just building on that. So yeah, still not quite done. Unfortunately, these things always take longer than we hope. And yeah, like I said, my husband is back at work during the day, so we can't get as much done as when he had time off to do it. So yeah, it's going slower, but eventually it'll be done. Hoping within another few days I will have my normal spot on the couch back. Yeah, this has been an expensive year. Kiddo needed his wisdom teeth out, which was only about half covered, so yeah, by our insurance, so not cheap. And yeah, doing the renovations, and we bought him a car, so yeah, it has not been a cheap year, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and we had to get him a new bed because he got too tall for his single bed. And he also somehow managed to put a hole in the mattress, so yeah. So we took the whole thing to the local restore, and they didn't want the mattress because they said it has to be perfect, which I kind of figured was going to be the case, but yeah, they were happy to take the bed frame because that was still in really good condition. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with it, it's just that he's too big for it now, so. Always prefer when things can get some more use rather than just being chucked, right? So, yeah. So yeah, he's now fully moved back into his bedroom and playroom and got shelving up with all the stuffed animals on it and everything like that. Yeah, so he's happy. He's in his playroom's where we set up his computer desk, and it glows green, so I joked that he has his Borg alcove, his regeneration alcove. Yeah, because if you've followed me for a while, you'll know I'm a huge Trekkie. So, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. They said in Star Trek they wanted, because the Klingons were sort of the big villain for the original series, and then in the Next Generation they wanted to create a new villain, and they thought they were going to make that with the Ferengi, but they kind of came off as a little too comical, so it ended up being the Borg. Yeah, was their big villain. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I was hoping that that strand would be long enough to do those last few stitches there, but I guess that was just not going to happen. So, yeah. Just taking a look at what's here. So, I can see the color here kind of extends out this way a bit, so I may just again start building up. Oh, yeah, sometimes it does that when you move it around. It either highlights stuff that shouldn't be highlighted, or yeah, blanks out stuff that was already highlighted. But if you wiggle the screen around a little bit, that generally fixes it. So yeah, I can kind of see here, there's this sort of leaf here, and I think a flower is going to come here, but I think I'm just going to sort of cut it off as where the leaf starts and keep filling in from here for now. I'll fill in the flower later, because that will mean pulling out a whole bunch of new colors, which I don't feel like doing right now. Yeah, that's another reason I like to sort of follow the color flows, is it means I don't have as many colors to deal with at the same time. So I kind of do one motif and then move on to the next one without leaving gaps, of course, as per my usual, but then that way, yeah, I don't have as many colors out at the same time, because I only have so many spots in my little working tray. So okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I was saying kiddo got his wisdom teeth out. He's doing really well. Yeah, he likes his pasta very al dente, and yesterday is the first time he told me, because I've been cooking it, you know, longer for the last while, since it was harder for him to chew. But then yesterday he said, no, you can cook it the normal way, where he only likes it cooked like 4.5 minutes, so it's still almost crunchy. And yeah, so yeah, he's pretty much back to normal, although he's restricted and can't eat popcorn or chips, yeah, for another 6 weeks. Yeah, I don't remember having that restriction when I had mine out, so that must be something new over the last, well, but I mean, it's been over 20 years since I had mine out, so I'm not surprised it's changed, because yeah, these things do change. Because yeah, I remember way back when I was in like 6th grade, it was the first time I took a first aid course, and they made this big thing that, like, unless a choking person's airway is completely blocked, you are not supposed to hit them on the back. It was really drilled into us. And because the idea was that if there was still even a little bit of air moving, you could actually make it get lodged in there worse. And so that they thought pounding on someone's back was counterproductive and could actually make it worse, but now they don't. Yeah, I took another first aid refresher, you know, a few years ago, and that's changed. They now, as soon as someone's choking, they tell you to alternate between hitting them on the back and, you know, doing the Heimlich abdominal thrusts. So yeah. Although I hope I'm never in a situation where those skills become necessary, because that's pretty scary. And people who have actually had to do it have said, yeah, it takes a lot more force than you think to dislodge if someone's choking on something, yeah. But, oh, when I was a teenager, I was sort of jumping up the stairs, and I had sort of the last bit of a popsicle in my mouth, and when I jumped onto the last step, it fell back in my throat, like, perfectly, and yeah, that was scary. And my sister was there, but she wasn't facing me, so she didn't see. And of course, I couldn't make any sound. I had to bang on the wall to get her attention. And then, yeah, I was still able to get a little bit of air. So that was, of course, at the time when we were taught you never, ever hit someone on the back so she couldn't do anything for me. But thankfully, of course, because it was a popsicle, it melted pretty quick. And I was able to, finally get it out. But I said, it probably was only 4 or 5 seconds, but man, that was like the longest 4 or 5 seconds of my life. Like, holy mackerel, that was scary. Yeah. You don't realize how terrifying it is to not be able to take in any air until you're in that situation. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's why they say, it's a good idea to take a refresher course every couple of years, because the techniques change. Well, as they, of course, learn more, they revise and hopefully improve, the techniques. So yeah, this color here you can see is the leaf, and it's kind of coming around this way. And so I'm just gonna sort of, let's take a look. Yeah, probably cut it off around here somewhere. I'll extend those leaves later once I've filled in the flower that is next to it. So, like I often say, with my method, I kind of have to make a cutoff somewhere, so I generally decide as I'm stitching where it makes sense for me to do that. Sometimes I go further than I originally had planned, because I find that it made more sense at the time to do so. Okay. All right. Yeah, the back part of the work here is almost looking like a little latch hook rug area. Yeah, because it's got a lot of pin stitches there. Yeah, I remember I actually did latch hook a bit when I was a kid. Well, I found a kit at like the thrift store that somebody had put like, 3 or 4 little yarn pieces in and then discarded it. So I was like, score. Yeah, I don't have it anymore, but yeah. Yeah, my grandma did that quite a bit for a while. And rather than buying the pre-cut yarn, she just discovered that it made the same length as the pre-cut stuff if she wound it around her the handle of her can opener. Yeah, cut it herself. So that's what she did, because child of the Great Depression, right? Yeah, you save money wherever you can. So yeah, she's still with us. 91 she turned this year. Yeah, unfortunately we live far away, so I don't get to see her very often. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna just carry this thread sort of up and around and back down. That's just, so yeah, in fact I may just end this here and then keep building from there is what I'm probably going to do. And I'll sort of keep working my way up the fabric and then probably drop back down and do the same thing. It just, so sometimes, like I say, I work top down, but sometimes growing up from the bottom is just what seems to flow the best. So then I do that. And sometimes I work sort of right across sideways from the top down. Sometimes that's the way. Yeah, but I basically never work in strict 10 by 10 blocks. Yeah, I just find that kind of awkward personally. And I worry about there being lines. So yeah, I think I'm gonna unthread these now as I work them at this point. Since they're still threaded, I might as well do, you know, a couple more stitches with them and then park them away for later. Okay. So, oh, I probably should have actually parked this up there, but you know what? It's so close that it really won't make that much of a difference, I don't think. So yeah, I'm just going to, there's one that's still threaded, but I'm not going to do it because I would have to rethread another piece that I don't want to do. So there we go. So moving back up again into that corner, then into that corner. Okay. That did not disappear nicely. Let's try that again. Again, that's probably just me being finicky about it. Probably would have been fine once I stitched over it, but oh no, it still doesn't want to. I probably came up in the wrong place and I don't feel like pulling that back again, so good enough. Yeah, it's gonna get covered up anyway. So. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of stopping and starting here because there are a lot of colors sort of weaving back and forth around each other. So yeah, like I said, I moved my frame, so the edge is right there. It's pretty close. I almost moved it too far over. I have to be careful not to do that. But I'm always trying to push it to the limit because I don't like moving my frame. It's a bit of a process, yeah. Because I got to take it out of the stand and yeah. Yeah, some people prefer to work on bigger frames, but I just find my range of motion is kind of limited, so I would rather adjust the work than bend myself into weird positions and cause myself pain. All right. Right now my tray is all like browns and reds. Soon it'll be pinks again when I get into the flowers again, but that's gonna be not today, I don't think. Yeah, I'm kind of, like I said, working on the spot where the window meets the flowers and the flowers cover it up. So yeah, discovered that, yeah, it's darker color here because that part of the window is in shadow, I think, from having the flowers in front of it. So I could have paused rather than closing in that one next to it, but since it's not on all four sides, I'm not that concerned about it. Since this was the last stitch of this color, I figured let's just keep my momentum going and finish it off completely. So yeah, I always say these are more guidelines than rules. Yeah, I know from looking at the symbols, this here is going to be a flower, but yeah, I'm not going to get there yet. I'm going to sort of fill in what's to the left of it first. So maybe next session I will be at flowers again. Who knows? We will see. This one I'm going to draw across the back because this red is very dark and I don't want to risk it showing through or the ends getting pulled through because that's a pain. So yeah, like I said, 99% of the time I pin stitch, but sometimes drawing it across the back just makes more sense to me. So that's what I do. Actually will start thinning this out a bit because I'm going to reach sort of the edge of this color here and it'll be tied off, so in preparation to add a whole bunch of other colors. Because yeah, coming up here is some more leaf. I can tell from the symbols it's the blues and grays of the leaves. Yeah, again, another dark color, so I know it's getting into lighter colors here, so again draw across the back. Make sure it's tucked away. Okay, so oh, look at that. When I parked it, I pierced the fabric and I didn't notice. Yeah, it's not right. Don't want to leave a gap, so. There we go, that's better. Yeah, especially on 14 count, it's really unforgiving when you miss the spot because it's bigger. Yeah, I find it can be really glaringly obvious if I did that. It leaves a gap of white that can be a bit noticeable, so. Oops, meant to go from the top, but oh well. Good enough. Yeah, so we're closing in on 140,000 total completed. Probably won't get that today, but I bet by next time I sit down to stitch with you all, I will have probably reached it. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's another one of that color there. Just double checking before I closed in that loop that I hadn't pierced in the wrong place again, because that sucks. say thinned out the colors, but now I'm going to be adding a bunch of new ones. Goodness, I am not doing well with that today. Almost formed a triangle shape there. Just because of the way the leaf cuts across. So yeah, we're gonna start adding, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of lattice, I think, and then we'll be adding more leaf in here. I knew I'd reach the flowers eventually. Wasn't quite sure how long it was going to take. Okay, I'm going to check this one up here. I don't think it's very long. If it is, that's going to change my stitching strategy. No, it's short, but it is kind of long enough to do both. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to do some other colors first and fill in around it. I may end up doing out of order, but we'll just see if I can avoid that. Yeah, sometimes I can't avoid it, but I try to as much as I can. This is quite a confetti heavy area here. Lots of colors. Keeps things interesting, but also keeps the progress a little slower. But yeah, one thing I like about stitching this way is when I'm done with a section, there should be no missing stitches to have to find later. I say should be because every now and then there is going to be one. Yeah. I find usually when I'm taking out my grid lines, I always find one or two that I missed and have to fill in later, but most of the time it's completely filled in. At least that is the idea. Okay. I'm almost running out of spots to pin stitch in. For some reason, I don't know why, I don't like using the horizontal threads. You can totally use them if you want. I just, for some reason, find it's harder for me to get the thread to really disappear into the fabric when I do so. Okay. Looking at this, no, I think I can still do it. We will see. Yeah, I say with this method, I kind of almost feel like I'm doing a puzzle, which I do enjoy. Leave those threaded for now, but we'll see. It's quite a lot of colors, so we'll see if we get tangled up or not. Oh wow, this piece is very short because, yeah, the ends are extremely uneven. I was hoping to get these last 3 stitches out of it, but I think that's not going to happen now. Yeah, this is just too short to get it to do that. Well, it's got to run out sometime, right? Sometime. It's at the most inconvenient time. Goodness, I went right through that thread there. Couldn't have split that in half more perfectly if I'd tried. Oh yeah, I'm gonna draw along the back again for this color. So this is definitely leaf here. I think I'm going to end up using a different thread to go downwards that way. Yeah, in fact, I'm just going to attach it now because I can see that's what I'm going to end up doing. That one there. Okay. Yeah, usually when it isn't this confetti heavy, I have more done. It's like I said, I started at 61, I think. So I haven't even done 100. Usually I have 100 done by now. But this is a very detailed spot here. Lots of color changes. Yeah, I always say I have a love-hate relationship because it gets frustrating how much it slows things down sometimes, but in the end, I'm always happy I did it because the detail makes it really pop out. Yeah, sometimes I'll alternate to sort of do a really detailed area and then I'll do an area with bigger blocks for a while for a bit of a break. Okay. This one's going to kind of loop around and then come back down. Okay, so I did all of that just so I could do these 2 stitches without closing anything in or doing them kind of floating around by themselves. So some people may have decided that wasn't worth it to do all that other work beforehand, and that's totally up to you. Actually, I think I can probably get another stitch or 2 out of this, so I will do that rather than wasting it. So yeah, this other thread is going to go over this direction. So yeah, that hopefully this has kept things interesting today. It's certainly given me some brain exercise. Might as well do this one. And I think I can even get another couple out of it coming back up that direction, so I will. Oh, actually, I'm going to do the same color right now, just a different thread of it. Goodness. All right, sometimes they just don't want to come apart with the needle still on. Oh, and look at that, that's completely the wrong thread. Oh, that's funny. I see. It was tangled around this one and I chose the wrong one. Yeah, I kind of thought when I looked at it that it might not be the right shade. Yeah, so I'm a little less talkative today because I didn't sleep so great, unfortunately. Yeah, my neck was bothering me a bit. It's feeling better now. And I'm just hoping that it's just a mild twinge and it isn't going to go into another flare-up, because that's no fun. Yeah, the last couple of years I did acupuncture sort of at the beginning of each year, and it did help me quite a bit. Yeah, it gave me some relief for quite a while. this one just get a couple more stitches, sort of hugging this corner here. And that'll be it for that thread, because I'll be starting a new one further up and carrying it downwards. So yeah, I can end up with some interesting shapes on here when I follow the colors like this. Yeah, it's sort of quite a bit big indentation here, which we've filled in a fair amount of it today. Was moving back into our bedroom, I went through my closet and I think I probably got rid of half of my clothes. Well, there were tons of them in there that haven't fit for a long time, but I just sort of haven't had a reason to go through them, right? So I actually went through and I tried on every single piece of clothing to see what fit, what didn't, what was no longer to my taste. Mostly the stuff I got rid of was because it didn't fit anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed because I started out with like a dozen pairs of jeans and I have 2 left. The rest just, they don't fit anymore, so. Yeah. No point in my hanging on to them, because the chances they would ever fit again are extremely unlikely. Okay. So I have sort of what's left of one part of a diamond here. And I will be filling that in as well. So I'm going to do things slightly out of order here. Okay, 37.87. So I'm at 99 stitches to go to reach 140,000. Oops. Which, given how confetti heavy this spot is, I don't think I'll get today. And that's getting closer because halfway is 153,450 stitches. So it's a ways away, but we are slowly but surely working towards it. So yeah, I was saying probably another couple of years for this project. Probably not quite 2 years. Yeah, we will see. Sometime in 2026, I think, is when it will be done. Yeah, the leaves on these flowers and vines have been all like blues and grays and hardly any greens, which is not what I would have expected, but it works. Yeah, I've been happy with it so far, so I'm gonna stick with it. Oh, I think I tied that off. Yeah, I didn't color it in, did I? Yeah, that's the one I did, but I didn't remember to color it in, so do it now. Ooh. My goodness, pardon me. I think I'm going to take a break soon because I'm gonna need to get up and stretch a bit. I'm gonna kind of fill in this here, kind of smooth out that edge, and that's where I think I will stop for the day. Actually, I should probably park that one. Yeah, instead of here, I'm gonna park it up here. Just because of the way I'm gonna fill it in. It's about the same to reach either way, so yeah. Actually, after I finish these 3, that'll leave me on exactly 200 completed. Of course, I didn't do all 200 on camera. I already had 61 done, but I think that is still pretty happy with that progress, especially considering that was a lot of colors. Doesn't necessarily look it now that it's done, but that was, yeah, a lot of color changes. But I'm happy with the shading and detail on that, so yeah, that feels worth it to me. Alrighty, let's mark that as done. Perfect, and that is where I think I'm going to take a break today. So thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.